Let's talk about Guitar Hero.
Let's talk about Guitar Hero.
First of all, obviously, yes, there is a brand new guitar. So there is a learning curve to this game. How the new guitar is set up, if you don't know it, instead of the 5 top-down buttons, it's 3 and 3. So it's 3 on one side and 3 on the other. So in theory, you're doing chords. It's more like doing actual chords.
That sounds complicated.
There's no bottom buttons like you would have in Rock Band. It's just those 3. Obviously, strumming is the same.
Yeah.
Instead of tipping up the neck to power up, they also have a button, which I think is good because after a while, my old Guitar Hero guitar would no longer acknowledge that I was trying to power up when I would tip it up. So you could also hit that as I didn't like it. Once I tried it, I didn't care for it. I like to rock out.
It puts you in
wheel
it,
that
right?
neck up.
Is it like a whammy bar? Is that what it was like?
No, there's a whammy bar, but it's just like a little bar right under the strummer, and it's like power up, and you just hit that. It took more coordination than I was doing. I'd rather just be like, look at me nailing this note. So that is the new guitar. It's lightweight.
That was so great. I'm still recovering from that.
I know,
That was wonderful.
The good thing about it is that I have relatively small girl hands. And when I used to play with my old guitar, the 5 buttons were a pain in the butt because it was very difficult for me to do any chords where I had to do 1 and 5 together because my fingers just wouldn't stretch that far.
Yeah.
So this way now, it's easier for me to do higher up, harder chords because now it's
They're
more
right beside
flexible.
each other, yeah.
Now I just have to worry about that irritating, can my fingers stretch across and then do like...
Yeah.
As
I have
Phoebe
to
on
train
Friends,
my fingers for
lobster.
So
So there is a learning curve. You're not going to jump into this and be suddenly the super guitar hero of all guitar heroes and just be like, yeah, I'm rocking out. And the funny
well,
thing,
then I don't care for it.
sometimes when you get music games, the tutorial is way too long. You're like, I get it. You have to hit this button. Now they'll give you a whole tutorial for, and now hit the next button, and now hit the next button. This one is just like, here's how the top buttons work. Here's how the bottom buttons work. Here's what happens when you put them together. Go. And that's it. And it's funny because now that it's live, the whole concept of Guitar Hero Live is that you actually are in a band. Actually, you're in several bands. And it's all real in front of you. Like there's people talking to you. It's you. They start the game as if you're in the backstage and you're getting ready. And your tutorial is you're tuning up the guitar. So the guy's like, "Do you want to tune up your guitar?" So he teaches you how to do it. And then he's like, "All right, you're on stage." And I instantly felt like, "Oh my God, I'm on stage! Like, let's do this!" So there was a bit of actual realistic panic that I felt, thinking, "That's it. I'm going on stage. I'm doing it." But this is where it kind of fails. It could have been really cool. There's a couple decisions that I guess that they made along the way that I don't really agree with. And one of them is that you don't keep the same band. Like you play with multiple different bands. The whole game is in the live part is that you're playing at a venue, like a festival, and you literally play with every band that's on that roster. But I didn't care. Like, I wish that I could have just created my own band out of people or picked a few from the beginning bands and then created my own little band. Because that way I would have had, like, some of the people you were playing with in your little group were fun. They were kind of quirky, or they were, like, people I would hang out with. Some of them were terrible, and some of them had the most amazing bitch face. Like, when you when you start doing bad...
Resting bitch face?
No, like, angry bitch face. When you start doing bad, your bandmates start reacting to it.
Start giving you a cut
realistically. Oh my God, some of them are like, they're mouthing swear words. They're not really swear words, but they're mouthing very angry words at you, and they're giving you terrible looks. And
You dumb meanie head.
It's but it's it's funny to see this because the crowd starts reacting as well, and because it's a real crowd, you can see like people acting very disappointed and very angry.
Oh, cool.
Which I thought was kind of hilarious because it gets really campy after a while. I played the game. You started it on regular, so I played it along on regular. I didn't go crazy because I've only had the game for a couple of days, so I didn't be like, yeah, I'm going to master it on expert because, like I said, it took a while to get used to the guitar. And I found that it was very difficult not to be distracted by the silliness of the people in the crowd and like the, oh, you're doing great, kind of. And some of them would have the most hilarious signs like, you're my hero. It was so cheesy. And I almost wish that they had the crowds connected to whatever song it was or there was some kind of at least like connector. It just felt very, this is generic band number 3 and they're playing song X. So I felt that kind of actually took things away from it. And I also, especially playing on regular, it was very difficult to get kicked out of a song. And that was the one thing I remember from Guitar Hero when I used to play the original ones, is that once I started screwing up, it wasn't long before they booted me out, where they were like, the crowd is booing and everything is the worst thing ever, and I was kicked out. This one, there would be songs where I would lose it halfway through, and then I would just kind of give up, and I would occasionally strum something, thinking I would be kicked out and I could start the song over again. No, you just keep going. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna. And then you go to the next song, because it's a three song set.
3-song set.
Thank you. So each venue or each band you play within your one venue is a 3-song set. So you just had to kind of wait till the next one. And I was like, well, and then you would have to go back and replay all of the 3 songs again. I thought, well, no, I'd rather get kicked out quickly, start the song over again, try it over. But I guess in like that stupid James Franco commercial, you can't say start over when you're live on stage. And I did find that a little bit annoying, because by the time I got into the next song, I would either forget about the stupid, terrible song before that, or I just wouldn't have any interest in going back to it. And like, if I was going to replay it again from the start, fine, maybe. But I was already on to whatever the next venue was, the next band was. I didn't really have a lot of interest in going back, but it's definitely fun. I mean, it's not a game that's terrible. Where it really actually shines isn't in the live portion, but in the Guitar Hero television, which is a new thing that they've set up. It's basically streaming videos constantly, and you just jump in and play. Like, you pick your channel, you can pick your band, sometimes you can pick your song, sometimes they have albums, and you can just kind of jump in. I liked the generic music ones where it was like rock, and I would get thrown into rock, and it would be bands that I'd never heard of, but it was actually playing to the video. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because in this part of it you can level up, you gain points, you can play against people. But I loved this. I was like, I wish that this was the game and not Guitar Hero Live. And frankly, because there's so much content on both sides, this could be the game. Like, this is basically the part that's worth your time.
When you say video, like, is it the actual music video from the band?
You know what? I didn't actually deal with any of the bands that I knew. There was a lot of indie people that I was watching. Maybe it was a very just well-crafted video, so I wasn't 100% sure. Like, I didn't jump in and do like a Pearl Jam song or jump in and do whatever.
I'm sorry, Pearl who?
It's this little band. They've been around for a little bit.
So, I mean, obviously, regardless of what the gameplay is, the thing that makes up any good rock band Guitar Hero is the song selection.
Yeah.
So how is that, and what's featured in this game?
The song selection I really liked, because there's a lot of variety to it. Some people have been very negative about the extent of variety. If you go into games like Guitar Hero thinking it's going to be your classic, like, super hard rock, like, riffing, you're going to be obviously a little disappointed when suddenly you're doing Katy Perry. It's going to be a little downside. And I think that's people have every right to complain about that, because you like to rock out. And frankly, Avril Lavigne and Katy Perry set is not exactly on your wheelhouse. And who wants to waste some time with that? And again, you can't really jump over that when you're in the main mode. But if you're someone like me who kind of likes a little variety and is, not always like, let's do really hardcore chords, and you like to jump out of things, I liked it. So it was definitely more my frame, because I have a wide variety.
You do.
They even had like a Skrillex is in there. Like, there's all kinds of things.
How do you play a Skrillex?
It was weird, but it was
Skrillex
good.
is all over the place with his own music.
What?
It was definitely difficult to. There were times where some of those songs I was like, I have no idea what I'm playing the guitar to.
Right.
But yeah, there's tons of variety. And then when you go to the Guitar Hero TV, there's just tons of content in there. There's like Audio Slave, Amy Winehouse, bands that hipsters know that I have no idea.
You've probably never heard of them.
Like Monsters and Men is in there. Like, literally anybody you can think of. Boston, lots of classic guitar style songs. The variety is pretty decent. I liked it.
Does it work as a good party game as the previous ones did?
Well, I didn't get a chance. They do have co-op, and I didn't get a chance to play the co-op because I don't know anybody else who has a Guitar Hero. But if you're going to have just one person over and rock out, it's fun. Anyway, it's good to have music games back. I'm always a big fan of music games.
That's what I was going to ask you is, we went through a period where there was music games every other week.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
and, this version of Rock Band, and this version of Guitar Hero, and this version of Just Dance, and this version of Dance Central, and they were all out. We went through, I would say, like 3 3, maybe 4 years of layoff in there's been Just Dances every year.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, these type of like Rock Band Guitar Hero games have gone away for a while. Now they're back. Right time to bring them back?
I think so. I think that there was enough change to happen, and I think that it gave them time to kind of refocus and figure out how they could make things a little bit better. There's still lots of variety of music, and why not? I mean, people who like these games, I think, are always going to like them. Guys like Ken Rodney, who love to play Guitar Hero, I think would love this. I mean,
of course he would.
It's one of those things where you're pretending to be a rock star in your living room. Mm-hmm. How is that ever a bad thing?
It's not.
Until you start smashing things in your house.
That's right. Until your neighbors start banging on the door and you're playing Metallica at high volume at 1 in the morning.
One of my favorite. Okay. Do you have a score for us?
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
7.5 out of 10 for Guitar Hero Live.
Like I said, it's a little bit cheesy, but GHTV kills it.